This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Thanks very much for tuning into News 9. You're watching Unmissable. I'm NABILA, JAMAL. I take you through news from India and across the globe. This hour, we go straight into a big exclusive. News 9 has access from Karnataka's Central Jail. In Bengaluru's Parappana Agrahara Central Jail, we found out that liquor is not just being consumed, it's literally being made, manufactured and sold to inmates. An entire racket that's now been exposed. We blow the lid off this factory of liquor that's running inside the Karnataka jail, in Bengaluru jail. How that's happening under the nose of the officials. With our panelists on board, we get into that story. And a little more on our top story tonight is how India has become, or rather Indians have become resistant to antibiotics. That there could be a super bug that's inside us that cannot be erased by any antibiotic prescribed by any doctor. That's because we've consumed such level and that amounts of antibiotics over the years that our body has become antibiotic resistant. And there could be a super bug that's within most Indians. That's what a Lancet survey has said, with our expert doctors on that story. And finally, on our top story on day tonight, could there be a CM change in Karnataka? DK Shivkumar now seeking support from all his MLAs. But to the media, he says, High Command decides it's only about cabinet expansion, no CM change talk yet. We're going to take you through that news. As always, I start with the headlines. Right, President and Vice President of India and the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, attend the Constitution Day event at Samvidhan Bhavan. President congratulates parliamentarians for all the work that they have done, honouring Constitution makers' legacy. Chief Justice of India, Surya Kant, flags severe Delhi pollution, says it has become difficult to even go for a walk outdoors. CJI suggests shifting hearings now to virtual mode. Remember, Delhi by and large has now opted for work from home, at least 50% of the workforce until GRAP 3 is implemented will be working from home. This is the government's advisory, and now even the court saying hearings will become virtual soon. Ahmedabad has been awarded 2030 Commonwealth Games in a major boost to India's sporting ambitions. Union Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia calls hosting rights a prestigious milestone as Glasgow Assembly clears the centenary edition's return to India after 2 decades. So basically this also paves the way now for India's bid to host the Olympics soon after that. Akhilesh Yadav in UP demands 1 crore compensation for the deaths linked to voter roll revision stress. The SP chief in Uttar Pradesh alleges extreme pressure during electoral roll SIR in UP, announces 2 lakh aid for families of the deceased himself, and also says compensation should be given by the government. The Ministry of External Affairs says Arunachal Pradesh is integral to India. Remember, this woman, Arunachal citizen, Indian citizen, Arunachal resident, who's currently in the United Kingdom, was traveling via Shanghai and she was stopped by Shanghai authorities saying her Indian passport was invalid because they don't recognize Arunachal as part of India, it's part of China. Here, India says, condemning this, that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India, and says this kind of arbitrary actions by China at the airport will be closely looked into, stressing peace along the border region as a key element to bilateral peace between the two countries. Comedian Kunal Kamra sparks fresh political row after he wears a t-shirt saying outrage does not run this country, the Constitution does. This comes in fact following an earlier t-shirt post where he mocks the RSS that earned him some ire from the BJP and the Shiv Sena Here you have yet another T-shirt that he wears showing the Constitution book. But before this, an RSS picture on his T-shirt that was quite objectionable. That now his response to all the trolling is this. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge holds a 20-minute call with Rahul Gandhi on Karnataka developments. Key in-person meeting scheduled for 3 p.m. tomorrow in Delhi. Likely before the 1st of December, the Congress High Command may decide on whether there will be a CM change or not. Cabinet expansion in Karnataka is likely, so a big meeting that's scheduled in a few days' time. All right, let's start with our top story. Karnataka's most notorious prison. Parappana Agrahara Central Jail in Bengaluru, Karnataka has crossed the line yet again. It seems to have earned the name of the most notorious prison. And this time, it's not just about consuming liquor, it's also about manufacturing liquor behind bars at that central jail. A News 9 exclusive report exposes a full-fledged liquor brewery operating inside Parappana Agrahara right under the nose of those meant to enforce the law. Police officers clearly turning a blind eye. This is the same jail that has seen everything: celebrity privileges, illegal phones, parties, and now a criminal enterprise brewing alcohol inside those locked gates. It's just shocking how they're really raising the bar on illegal activities inside a central prison. Our investigation reveals how they made this liquor as well. They allegedly bought rotten apples, grapes, leftover fruit, cinnamon, wheat, sugar, all of those essentials needed to make alcohol, a fermented drink. They basically managed to source all of this from prison stores, and yeast was smuggled from the jail bakery. And that was fermented for 28 days. It was hidden in dark corners, poured into water bottles and served whenever there was a party inside. Whenever an inmate wanted a party inside the jail, this was supplied to them. And mind you, these are experts, those who knew how to make liquor inside jail, who were inside jail for that very reason, with a history in illicit liquor. Those are the people recruited in-house to brew this alcohol. Jail staff, we hear, allegedly were paid money to shut their eyes. This exposes a fully compromised jail system in Karnataka. Those are images, viral videos there that's coming to fore showing party that's happening inside with that jail-made liquor. Bengaluru police has stumbled upon this racket while probing a viral video of prisoners who were celebrating. And they wondered, what are they celebrating with? What kind of alcohol are they drinking? Where did it come from? And that's when Bengaluru police force from the outside found out that this liquor was being made inside, shockingly. The video didn't just show a party, it unmasked a whole parallel industry thriving for years inside Bengaluru Central Jail. Sources say the latest brew was being prepared for the next party, which is December 31st, New Year bash inside Bengaluru prison. Prison is of course meant for reform, a place to end illegal networks, but this place clearly appears to be their headquarters. How many officials are part of this? Who runs this underground network? How far does this corruption stretch? Are they earning from this? Imagine Karnataka Central Jail has become a bar almost. We wonder who is currently in control of this prison. Is it the state or criminals? On one hand, you have actor who's currently jailed there, Darshan, who claims there are no basic amenities. He's begging the court he rather die than stay in Parappana Agrahara, that there's no blanket and all that for inmates. While he cries for help, the visual here speaks of another story altogether. I'm going to bring in Sanjay Sahai, former ADGP of Karnataka, joining us. We also have Satya Prakash, Vice Chairperson, spokesperson of KPCC, Bhaskar Rao, spokesperson of the BJP. He was also a former police commissioner in Karnataka. I'd like to first bring in our Congress guest. My clear-cut question. The Congress is in power under the nose of the Congress and the police officials who you think are competent enough to run your jail. Central prison like Parappana Agrahara. Forget VIP treatment. Here you have a whole full-fledged liquor business that's thriving under your nose. Where is the failure, sir?
NABILA, I think I've been going through all your visuals. Most of these visuals, pertain to more than 15 days back or 20 days back. when there were reports that, there were some nefarious activities in jail. The jail superintendent of Parappana Agrahara has been shunted out.
Okay.
Two assistant superintendent of jailers, assistant superintendent of jail, they have been suspended. An inquiry has been put in, and an officer of the rank of IPS. Earlier, all the jailers and the jail superintendents were belonging to the prisons department. They were not from IPS. For the first time, an IPS level officer has been put by our DGP prisons. I think his name is Dayanand. Okay, so he has put, the Home Minister has categorically said that these sort of things, jail should be a reformation center. It cannot be a center to have luxury. So the government has already taken all the steps needed to curb those activities. On a daily basis, now people are having an eye on it. I and Mr. Sahai were in your show some 1 week back. There should be enough CCTVs. What Sanjay Shah said is, those should be monitored. That's more important. So all that activities have been put in place, and I'm sure that the government of the day has put its mind on this particular thing, and I'm sure that if there are any lacuna in running of the jail,
now you're
those things have been taken care of.
Basically, you're saying, I'm sure they'll do it, I'm sure they'll do it. Now, why did it happen? That's the bigger question. No, how did it happen? If you are in power there in Karnataka, you should be a little mindful of these kind of things happening. A few days ago, recently only, there was a talk around how, some terror elements were functioning from inside Parappana Agrahara. So it's scary enough that they have that kind of leeway. There's such a loose end here which is not being plugged in. See, the Home Minister has put an inquiry on it. The top officers of the prison will go and inquire into that. A report will be submitted. I am not privy to that report. Whatever comes out of the report, the government of the day will see that, this sort of nefarious activities will not happen in future is all I can say at this point of time. Okay. That means, I can't expect much from you to say on this, as probably Bhaskar Rao could give us a little insight into this. Bhaskar, you have been the police commissioner of Bengaluru, and now you are part of the BJP. Give us a little sense on how much the government is responsible here, and how can this kind of lapse happen under the nose of the police, competent police. I'd say Karnataka police is one of the best, even today. What happened here?
Let me make it clear to you, the police department does not run the prison. There is a separate prison administration, and it is run as per the police prison manual, and the prison is headed by an officer who is designated as the Inspector General of Prisons. Okay. It is only supervised now by an IPS officer. And the big question today is, who runs Parappana Agrahara? Is it the prisoners or is it the government? I really sympathize with Satyaprakash ji. Is a good friend and a good advocate to defend the government. But his incompetent Home Minister keeps giving him such tough time to defend the actions of the government. Now, liquor is being manufactured in a correctional center. What exactly is your policy of correcting the prisoners over there? In any proper prison, the convicted prisoners and under trials are kept separately. But in Parappana Agrahara, they interact freely. And this interaction is the root cause of all the evils that happens in the prison over there. Why is it that is happening? Now, they have one Mr. Dayanand, who is the head of the prison. He is a demoralized officer for having been unfairly suspended because of the riots over there. Earlier, it was run by Malini Krishnamurthy, who had no control over the prisons over there. And it is the prison officers who are having a gay and gala time. The Home Minister only makes salutary visits over there, conducts a review, and after proper refreshments, etc., he comes out and makes some transfers over there. If you are really serious, why is it that you are not axing them? And the prisoner is full of extremely intelligent, crooked people over there who need a very proactive administration to keep them busy. You can't keep them busy, so they are making liquor over there. Tomorrow they are going to make weapons also over there. The day after tomorrow they are going to get drugs also inside over there. You name it and you have it inside the prison. Because you have a weak Home Minister and a demoralized prison administration, all these things are happening over there. If you had a serious Chief Minister and a good Home Minister, you would not be having all these things. How long you can't expect lower level officers to bring about some changes and controls, etc. Administration and the policy and the message runs from the topmost level. Parmeshwar ji is not at all serious about police administration or prison administration. So Nabila, you also should not keep on blaming the police. The police duty ends when at the gates of the Parappana Agrahara prison. Inside it is the prison administration. And secondly, an IPS officer is not supposed to run the prison. IPS officer is trained to maintain law and order of an area. The prison administration is a civil administration, and bringing a police officer is against the spirit of the police manual. It is a desperate attempt to put an officer of IPS and say that we are going to run. Why is it that prisons can't be run by prison administration? They are trained. They know their job quite well. All that you need to do is a carrot and stick policy and encouraging them, supporting them, and asking them to do the right things. Why is the Home Minister not able to do all these things over there is the big question. So it is a question coming back saying who runs Parappana Agrahara, prisoners or the government? Thank you.
Okay. Sanjay Sahai.
Can I just intervene for 30 seconds?
Sure.
Mr. Bhaskar Rao, keep your hands on your chest. You have been a cop yourself. During your BJP rule, was all what you were saying not happening in Parappana Agrahara and across the jails across the state? Tell me. Be very fair. When your Ashoka was the Home Minister, there were similar allegations. So
No,
let
that
us
is
not
true.
play politics on
VIP
this.
treatment
Let
was
us
being
not play
given.
politics.
VIP treatment, contrabands were
Let
at
us-
that point
yeah.
also
Let us
very
not
much
play-
flourishing
Allow me
inside
to
the
answer that.
prison
Let
under
us not
BJP
play
also.
politics. Let us
Nabila,
not
allow
play
me to answer
politics,
this question.
Congress, BJP, and let us not call names. Because
No,
when
no.
you call names, I also have to call your
Call a
nice
name.
names, isn't it?
I will call a
Let
name.
us look at how we
Allow
can
me to
bring
answer
in
his
changes.
Allow me to answer his question. We did not perform. We were voted out. You have 136 majority. So don't tell me that you also did. So we also do it over there. You
No,
have
no,
got
no,
to-
no.
So
No.
Do it correctly.
No.
I am not in government. You are in
Okay.
government.
Okay. Politics will continue. Unfortunately, right now, Mr. Bhaskar Rao is a BJP
Example of what
spokesperson. So
happened during our government
this
was
this will take a political spin. Let me bring Sanjay Sahai to give a little more clarity on jurisdiction. Mr. Sahai, the BJP spokesperson, who's also a former cop, says that the police has not much of a role to play. It's and why is it not? The administration of jail not being given to the jail administration? Why is an IAS running it? It's probably the reason why there's such loose ends that aren't being fixed, because the person who running the show does not know the nitty-gritties of it.
No, I will go by delineating the actual administration of the jail. So the whole jail administration runs by the jail service, and the police service has nothing to do with it. So that's point number one. But jail administration has always been headed by IPS officers. That is the reality of life. And after IPS officers heading the jail administration, and I'm not talking about Parappana Agrahara Central Jail Superintendent, is the total jail administration of Karnataka. There, these sorts of issues have been happening since times immemorial. And to best of my understanding, I'm convinced of the fact that this is not going to die down. Second point is, since the Telgi days, this is what we have faced. But that does not absolve the present government of whatever is happening. Whatever happened in BJP, whatever happened in Congress, as a normal citizen of Bangalore and have some understanding of jail administration, policing, governance, and the like, and also technology, I think it is just a matter of shame, whatever might be the dispensation, to project ourselves in this manner, being the IT capital, and we are claiming to be the #1 police force in India. For all the compliments which is showered on the Karnataka police over and over again, and I've been seeing for last 35 years, these are the issues which are not getting sorted out. Before the present dispensation gets into doing something, I would just request them as a common man in Bangalore to give me a white paper. Let them make a white paper as to what has happened in the last 10 years. If they don't know how it is happening, what is happening, in which manner it is happening, they cannot give me a blueprint for change. They can suspend a couple of people, they can do a couple of other perfunctory sort of a work. The jail administration, the bureaucratic administration, which is the Home Department, and the political class, they have not applied their mind to whatever is happening there. And if they give me granular details of every single thing which has been happening, only then I will be satisfied. Currently, I can tell you that the type of history which the jail has, it will certainly qualify in Guinness Book of World Records for precisely all the wrong things.
I haven't seen, I mean, Parappana Agrahara is known to be a prison where the most hardened criminals are sent inside. It's a correction center, rightly like Mr. Bhaskar Rao said. But this is turned into a place where prisoners are enjoying themselves, and we saw a glimpse of it through Darshan. Darshan had VIP treatment he was given. He had video calls that he was allowed. He could sit in the garden with cope, you know, and they're murder accused. And these are his men who he is sitting with, people who conspired allegedly to kill that man, which is why they're inside prison. But they're all sitting having a gala time, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes. Now we know making alcohol. Forget drinking, making alcohol. So, you know, very notorious this jail is for allowing inmates to enjoy their time inside a correction center instead of actually, you know, correcting them. How does this happen? If in your experience, how does this happen? I want to know, how can liquor be made to such extent where it's sold for money? How are people allowed phones? Is it all in exchange for money? Is that it? Is that so easy? If you have money as a inmate, you give it to the jail officials there, they turn a blind eye. That's all. Is it that simple?
See, the jail has got all kinds of inmates under trials for petty crimes to serious crimes. It is these criminals who have got a lot of support from outside with money power, etc. They manage to bribe the jail administration very heavily, and they are able to smuggle in all these things through tons of rice which comes inside, tons of vegetables which come inside. All these things rather go unchecked, and all this contraband that comes inside. It is not only with the case of Parappana Agrahara. It is the same with all the 80 other jails inside the state also. All these things being smuggled inside or being hurled inside or thrown inside. The correct message that the state minds its business and we want a strict administration is yet to come through. People around the jail are complaining that because of the jammers, they are not able to access phones. Whereas inside the jail, you can send Instagram, you can access Facebook, and you can do any kind of social media. But all around the jail, common people are suffering. Means why do we come up with such ridiculous things over there? And as my senior and learned colleague Sanjay Sahay mentioned, that it's been going on for quite some time. Okay, you have got a tough home minister, as you feel, who is supposed to be very experienced, highly learned. Why don't you put a stop to it over there? And you got such a huge majority, 136 MLAs you got with you over there. What is preventing you from cracking the whip and saying that, well, I am going to improve this place irrespective of what happened earlier? And you are mentioning what, etc. Wait a minute, don't disturb me. You are, okay, we were all voted out. We did not perform. Now, do you want to get the same fate?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But before I come to you, let me bring Sahay. I wanted to understand how this happens. In simple layman language, if you can explain to us, how does this happen?
See, it can only happen if the system is compromised. And I will go by only public domain understanding, and whatever I have done in policing, based on that, I will map one on the other from the days of Telgi till today. And the only thing which I can understand, it is a completely compromised jail administration. If it is compromised only for the people who are influential, who are moneyed, who have political connection, and who are very high on the criminality list, like ISIS operative and things of that nature. So if it is limited to that, I have no idea. But at a great level, it has been compromised to an extent. I was going through one of the news articles today, which says that there is a rate list. I just fail to understand that the jammers are compromised, the CCTV is compromised, the visits are compromised, and now there is a distillation factory inside the jail. Then what is not compromised is my question. So currently I get a feeling, as far as at least the influential and the moneyed guys are concerned, the jail administration is literally outsourced to them and is running and providing comfort to these guys. Now the challenge is a bigger challenge. One is your jail authorities and whosoever wardens and down the line. Now, how do they feel so confident and how are they so audacious when the national media and everybody is up in arms?
Yeah.
From where do they get their comfort from? I just fail to understand. If they are not getting their comfort out of the bureaucratic leadership, all the political leadership, and as I have been told, and every government, it is not the present government, every government, every single meeting, we have been told that they will literally finish everything and they will not withstand anything. It is zero tolerance. Why is it happening? Which means this buncombe is being thrown on the citizens where the same thing keep on happening. Why a jammer is not working? Why a CCTV is not working? Why analytics is not working? Why GPS is not working? It is a small prison in the sense by way of the geographical area. Bhaskar Rao will be 100 acres, 200 acres. How much is it?
100 acres.
So 100 to...
Less than 100 acres. 70 acres.
Less than 100 acres, every single inch can be mapped. It can be mapped by sensors, it can be mapped by CCTV, it can be mapped by satellite imagery. You give it to a technology company, I can convincingly tell you whatever you want on those parameters, they will be able to deliver. So it is the nature of a compromise, which is a very complex thing. The government runs in silos. It is very difficult to bring all these things together, and one person who takes the responsibility, who has the capability, takes the responsibility and carries it through for a long time to cleanse the whole thing. There is absolutely no denying the fact that lower down the line things are in a mess, and as we move further it is indifference, and as we move further and further, people like
I highly doubt. Look, what I see here is,
as you move further, you talk only from 70,000 feet.
It's more than indifference. I see a lucrative business opportunity.
Exactly.
People who have realized where people who are in distress. I mean, I'm assuming the inmates are in distress. Let's hope they are.
No. See, business is for those guys. But I still pray and believe that there is indifference at a level, and not from top to bottom. Everybody is doing
that's what I'm saying. I doubt it's indifference. I think it's more a lucrative business opportunity, because it's the bottom-up effect. Your inmates are pumping money to your jail officials to the administration. I don't know if your IAS is earning anything out of this. I wouldn't tarnish the name of Mr. Dayanand. He's a very able officer, but if he's overlooking the prison right now, it's shocking how he has overlooked something like this under his nose. And from there on, how many politicians or who else does it go to? So it's a well-oiled machinery where money is flowing through a set network. And I'm not accusing one government. Successive governments have failed. But for Congress, it's unfortunate. In your tenure, this kind of corruption has come to fore.
What the present government has done, I can tell. I was talking to some senior man. He was saying that there are chances that under trial and those who are convicted, there will be a clear demarcation. They are planning out something like that. Point number one. Point number two, even though the jail department, prisons department is headed by IGP or whatever the rank, Mr. Dayanand, a senior police officer, what changes they have done now is never an IPS officer has been put in charge of a jail. Never Parappana Agrahara or any jail has been put under an IPS officer. For the first time, this government has put an IPS officer in charge, so that all these things which were hitherto under the prisons department, and they were doing all this.
It is not a correct thing.
No, whether it is correct.
Dayanand is an IPS officer. First time IPS officer in charge. Who was in charge before that? What rank officer was in charge before that?
Before that, an officer from the prisons department was in charge, Mr. Suresh, chief superintendent of prisons. Now he is transferred. Never an IPS officer has been put in charge of a jail. For the first time, the Congress government and our Home Minister, Dr. Parmeshwar, has put an IPS officer in charge of a jail.
Mr. Bhaskar Rao is saying something else, Mr. Rao.
Yeah. Nabila, it is wrong to put an IPS officer there. Prison is under the under the magistrate, judicial as well as executive magistrate. So it is the IPS officer is trained to maintain law and order outside. He is not a prison officer. It's a very desperate step, or to only shut out all these incompetencies. They are putting an IPS officer. An IPS officer
is a good step to Bhaskar Rao.
Sir, Satyaprakash ji,
you should commend the government for doing this. It has put an IPS cadre officer to take care so that all this nonsense can stop. You should in fact commend the Congress government, isn't it?
Sir, that is not
that is a temporary thing that we have done. That is,
Now you are
I know what you are saying. An IPS officer has never been put in charge of the jail. I know that, but this is a one-off situation where we want to bring a very, very sensitive jail.
So U.S. Congress is saying that the intention is to ensure, that there is strong security and this does not happen. But
some course correction happens. That's what we are trying.
Final word I'll take from Mr. Rao and Sanjay Sahai, as they are cops themselves. What is the solution, sir? If you can give me in a nutshell.
See, firstly,
so Sanjay sir, please go ahead.
Go ahead, Bhaskar. Go ahead, please.
Non-politically, I could only mention to you, Nabila, that the prison needs tough administration like prisons all over the world. Our prison, as Sanjay sir has been mentioning, is absolutely compromised from all sides. Who can remove this compromise? Only the government can remove this compromise. If very weak and soft methods are being used, the number 2 was suspended. Number 1 retains was only transferred, and an IPS officer. These are not steps to be taken over there. You have to have straight, incisive action to ensure that prisoners are separated. It is not a new law, Satyaprakash. The prison manual itself states that convicted prisoners and under trial should be separated. Why are you not enforcing? Your minister can enforce it over there. So my last word only is that there is a lack of intent. And Sanjay ji mentioned about technology, etc. If there is lack of intent, what is it that technology can do?
What I'm saying is they're going to do a separate building for under trials and convicts. That is the difference from earlier times.
Okay. Mr. Sahai, separate building for inmates and convicts. Is that the solution? Well, that is one of it. One of the solutions, yes.
No, it is not a solution. None of these patchy things are going to work. Let me tell you with all amount of clarity and humility. If the jail administration is not mandated to deliver and it is not dictated to deliver, it will not deliver. Tomorrow, if the commercial tax department does not work, will you give it to an IPS officer? Is the jail administration which has to deliver? You cannot do these quick fixes for all times to come. And I will request once again, as a common man in Bangalore, that you do a complete research or study on last 10 years. You put that white paper in front of whosoever is there in Bangalore and in India, and let the experts decide on the plan of action. Most importantly, our money is being squandered on CCTVs, on jammers, and all those things which are being compromised on a day-to-day basis and putting Bangalore's name to shame. And finally, if this is the way it works, I just fear tomorrow it will be some civil society which needs to come in. There is absolutely no other way out. The technology has to be put in place.
Imagine we have the most superior technology. We have the best technology today.
I'll tell you, CCTV and jammers, you put them into action. And not only that, let them do a back-end work on what has been compromised, and the jammers and CCTVs audit logs will deliver you everything, and let these people be charged of in a criminal case, and then let them face the music. Okay. All this departmental inquiry transfers are of no use. We have just crossed the line.
Okay, so well, as the Congress assures that there's corrective measures being adopted, that man who was responsible for the prison administration has been shunted out. Will this solve the crisis? Will they really weed out the actual, rot brewing inside the prison? How are they going to do that? We'll wait and watch. Let's just hope no further videos of such nature come from Bengaluru. It's really putting the city and the state to shame. Thanks very much, all of you, our police officers as well, for giving us that take on this story. Slipping into a short break, we'll be right back. On the other side, we're taking you through how Indians have become highly resistant to antibiotics. A new study has shown. Stay with us for more.
क्वालिटी पे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस, इसीलिए बिरला ऑफिस एश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaoffice.com पर।
is to the nines. In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Welcome back. All right, let me take you through a story that's really bothering us as Indians. In simple words, a major global study says most Indians are no longer responding to antibiotics. A new Lancet report warns that 83% of patients in India are carrying deadly superbugs, a bacteria that don't get killed by regular medicines anymore. That means nearly 1 in 4 infections in India cannot be treated with commonly used drugs. So the reason why this is happening is overuse of antibiotics. Doctors say that we have overused antibiotics to such an extent that no antibiotics are effective enough to combat diseases anymore. Indians especially, a high number of them. Especially the kind of antibiotics that we consume so often, that's resulted in this. And that includes azithromycin, amoxicillin and ofloxacin. These are the drugs, some of them, that are so overused in India that people have by and large become antibiotic resistant. And they're taking this even if it's not needed. Even if it can be cured without them, you're being prescribed antibiotics or people are consuming it on their own. Taking antibiotics for simple cold, that's what's also seen by doctors. To buying them over the counter without a prescription, doctors over prescribing them. All of this has made bacteria now stronger and medicines weaker among Indians. Routine surgeries may turn lethal now. Minor injuries could really kill. ICU infections, untreatable. That's the result of this. Slow health emergency that could eventually occur in India that could be worse than COVID. While the rest of the world may recover faster, Indians might take longer. The Lancet study finds that over 2 lakh Indians die every year because antibiotics stop working. And this number could double very soon if nothing really changes. The superbugs found in the study are resisting almost every drug we hear, including even the most powerful drug, the last resort antibiotics, that's called carbapenems. Now, how did India reach this stage? We hear rampant misuse of antibiotics among Indians. Antibiotics fed in livestock also is one of the reasons that enter our food, and that could make us antibiotic resistant. Poor infection control in hospitals, contaminated water that's spreading resistant microbes, hardly any new antibiotics that's being developed in the world. Basically, to catch up with our resistance, no antibiotics are being made in recent times that could really act as an efficient counter. Indians, of course, are going to be bearing the brunt of this. Doctors say that they are now being forced to use old toxic drugs which have been abandoned decades ago. Those are the kind of drugs they have to resort to if a patient is not showing signs of recovery from the standard present day drugs. Sometimes there is no antibiotics left that even works. That's what Indian doctors have said, as per the study. The warning is, of course, very chilling. A small injury could turn fatal. Routine surgeries that could become high risk at this point. Experts say that the government must act, and it should act now. Make antibiotics strictly prescription only. Regulate the use in poultry and cattle. Improve hospital hygiene and sanitation. Track drug-resistant infections nationwide and push for new antibiotic innovation. And the public also has a role, you and I. No self-medication, strictly. Don't demand antibiotics from doctors. Try treating yourself with natural remedies if you can. Complete the full course when prescribed to you. Maintain hygiene, clean water, safe food handling. Be responsible with livestock medicines. So these are some of the ways that you can Save Yourself. Dr. S.K. Singh, former Director, National Centre for Disease Control, joins me live. Thanks very much, Doctor. Just a quick take on this Lancet study that leaves us startled that 70% of Indians, shockingly, are antibiotic resistant. What does this mean for us in the long run?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. But I'd like to highlight that this particular study is on the tertiary care hospital-based study. So it really doesn't, you cannot just assume that the same scenario exists in the community and it is a simple one hospital-based study, although it is a multi-centric, done in Italy, Netherlands and US. And of course, out of those, in the study also, the highest burden has been shown in India. So I think that is well taken. But having said that, there are many other areas which need to be explored as far as surveillance is considered, as far as the hospital use is considered, as far as the community-based use is considered. But yes, you are very right, and you have very well, in your introductory remarks, you have very well highlighted the problem which we are going to face in the near future or in the years to come, when we will be left with very, very few antibiotics, and particularly the persons who are consuming irrational type of antibiotics, irrational use of antibiotics by the doctors. So there are a number of factors. And yes, the government is not really silent. The National Antibiotic Containment Program, it has also been highlighted by the Honorable Prime Minister of our country, and it has got very strategic 6 pillars on which the government is acting. But yes, the efforts are really minimal, and they need to be really complemented by the efforts not only in the government sector, private sector, veterinary sector, agriculture sector, food sector, and it's a multi-sectorial origin. So efforts have to be multi-sectorial also.
When the study says that India is the epicenter of a global superbug explosion, what does that really mean? What is a superbug?
No, superbug is basically the multi-resistant bacterium which are not responding to the routine antibiotics or the antibiotic which are being in common use for those particular, say for respiratory infections. If we are using the routine antibiotic, they may not really work when the resistant bacterium emerges. And that resistant bacterium can emerge due to mutations, we have seen in COVID also, we have seen in n number of infections which are like staphylococcus infection. So there are now resistant in tuberculosis also, MRSA, multi-drug resistant XDRA TB, MDR TB. So all these things are really forcing the doctors to resort to stronger antibiotics. And on the other hand, we have very limited new antibiotics or new antibiotic molecules which are emerging, which can help us in these kind of scenarios. So definitely there is a definite warning for all of us that we need to be cautious, and this study definitely points, although it's a hospital-based study, endoscopic ERCP, post-ERCP patients, but definitely it points, it's a pointer wherein we need to take actions on various fronts. Number one, we need to assess the correct burden of antibiotic resistance in the country. That is one. Second, interventions from the community to the top level, up to policy level maker. We need to have clarity in the policy, clarity in the prescriptions, and strict enforcement of the policies or the interventions with the government has planned.
Yeah, surely. Do you believe that doctors are being forced to prescribe powerful antibiotics, or you believe that doctors, I'm sure you would disagree, but are doctors prescribing it for flimsy reasons which can be avoided? What would be your advice?
There are two aspects. Which first thing, you have said that doctors are being forced. I don't see that there is any regulation from the government side or otherwise also which forces the doctors only to prescribe a particular medicine or antibiotics. I don't think that there is any reason for...
maybe if I could rephrase this question, and I'm sure not all doctors are tainted, but there was a news piece that came out a few years ago, or maybe barely a year ago, that Dolo 650 was a tablet that was, the company itself pumped it into hospitals so much and paid a certain amount of money for hospitals and doctors to prescribe it to patients. Example
yes,
that.
No, that is No, I think you are very right as far as companies advocating going to the doctors as a medical representative or as a otherwise also giving them some incentives, and which is forcing or which is rather becoming a sort of a incentive to the doctors to prescribe those particular medicines or those specific antibiotics, because they want the sale of that particular antibiotics increases, a company benefits, and company in turn passes on some kind of benefit through XYZ routes to the doctors. So that was the reason behind that particular episode which you are talking about. But as far as the regulation or as far as the compulsion is on the other front, I can say it is not definitely that the doctors are being forced to that particular doctors. Maybe rather become
a quick word of advice on how you can maintain your immunity to ensure that you're not resistant to antibiotics when you really need them.
No, I think it's a multi-sectorial effort which needs to be put in place. Number one, infection control practice on the hospital front. We have to have the strict infection control practices which have to be followed by not only doctors but also with regard to the nursing care and others also. That is one. Second, on the public front or the persons who are receiving antibiotics, I think what you have highlighted in your introductory remark, you should complete the course. Number one, don't use the antibiotics on self-medication should be avoided. That assuming that last time this antibiotic worked, so we can go in for that particular antibiotic this time also. That particular practice needs to be curbed with a strong hand. Third, we should not, but pharmacy, they should be advised not to sell that red light campaign. I think you must be aware about the red line campaign, that the antibiotics should not be sold over the counter just on the basis of some pharmaceutical knowledge, because it requires the knowledge of the infection with which the person is suffering, and then you have to go. Third, which important is that if at all doctors feel that there is a need for antibiotic, I think culture sensitivity needs to be done. And once the culture sensitivity results are obtained, you should not be unnecessarily going in for the antibiotics which are showing resistance. We should be using the antibiotics to which the bacterium in that particular person is highly sensitive. So I think that will definitely help us in a big way. But there are many efforts on the pharmacy front also.
We're looking forward for the system to be fixed, and I'm short on time on that. Thank you very much, Doctor. I really appreciate for coming on board for this story with your expertise. A quick break. We'll be right back to stay with us.
आओ मनाए दूध क्रांति के जनक डॉक्टर वर्गीस कुरियन का जन्म दिवस.
The goat or Macross satire is back. Cyrus Roja. From politics to pop culture, from your WhatsApp forwards to breaking news, nothing and no one is safe.
Relax, guys, relax. I only roast the truth, and the truth is always hilarious. Too much pressure.
Get ready for news caustic, bold, sharp, unfiltered, 100% Cyrus.
मेरी बेटी के अभी से बाल झड़ रहे हैं, मैं क्या करूं?
2 स्पून ही काफी है। लायन डेट सिरप, इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स और किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। आयरन यानी बाल झड़ने से रोकथाम। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
Welcome back. Let me start with our top story here on Day to Night. Terrifying fire that's gripped Hong Kong's residential buildings. This massive inferno, fire that's caught on a residential complex in Hong Kong that's killed nearly 14 people so far. This massive fire has ripped through the high-rise building in Wang Fu Court housing complex located in Tai Po. That's killed 14 people, including a firefighter, and injured dozens. Let me tell you, many are still stranded Officials warn that the numbers of deceased could go up. Rescue teams are pushing all that they can to get inside those apartments and save those people who are currently trapped. Nearly 2,000 apartments in that building that span across 8 blocks, and the fire gripped multiple of those towers. Densely packed community there that's now turned into a disaster zone. Firefighters were first alerted at 2:51 p.m. By 6:22 p.m., the situation exploded into a number 5 alarm, which is Hong Kong's highest emergency level. In fact, the reason for fire is yet to be established, but they believe that there was scaffolding. One of the towers had scaffolding there, and that scaffolding that was made of bamboo, which is very commonly used across the city there, became the real cause of the fire spreading so rapidly. It was the corridor for this deadly flame accelerating the blaze upward. Some residents are still trapped on higher floors. Firefighters say that they are in contact with some of them, urging some terrified families to seal the doors tight and windows as well with tape and wet towels while they fight their way up. Outside, of course, panic is now gripped. Family is now pleading for news of their loved ones. Terrified residents watching their homes burn. The fear of unknown is too heavy to bear. Who have survived, who's not. This could be Hong Kong's deadliest blaze in nearly 3 decades. Authorities now racing against time to ensure that those who are trapped are rescued, and firefighters have vowed to fight through the night. All right, let's take you through all the CM change speculation in Karnataka. Karnataka's leadership suspense is hitting a decisive moment. Who's going to step back is the big question. Will it be Siddaramaiah or DK Shivkumar? Who's really going to be the one gracefully stepping aside for the other? Sources say the Congress High Command wants this to be settled at least before December 1st, which is when the Parliament session begins. And in a sign of urgency, a message has come from Rahul Gandhi to DK Shivkumar asking him, please wait, I will call you. This message has come after nearly a week of DK Shivkumar trying to get Rahul Gandhi's time. Obviously, as per sources, pushing for him to be made the CM. But publicly, DK Shivkumar has shrugged off any power struggle. He says there's no grouping, there's no groups here. It's just my MLAs, our MLAs who are all Congress supporters, not my supporters. There's no groupism, no factionalism. This is what DK said.
No confusion, no one should demand anything. No demand is anything. There is no any groups. What you are protecting, there is only group, the Congress group. Our group is 140 MLAs.
All right. Meanwhile, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge along with Sonia Gandhi will be personally intervening. We hear high-stakes Delhi meeting is likely to be held on November 29th, where possibly all this confusion might be settled. Alliances, meanwhile, are shifting on the ground. DK Shivkumar hosted a late-night dinner with Siddaramaiah loyalist Satish Jarkioli. That lunch, a lunch with MLAs at the legislator's home also followed by a private hotel meeting. So DK meeting as many MLAs as he can. And at this point, he's trying to push hard to get support. Suppose he is made the CM, he wants all these MLAs, including the Siddaramaiah camp MLAs, to be supporting him. Let me take you through what Mallikarjun Kharge has said on this.
देखो वहाँ की सरकार क्या कर रहे हैं वहाँ के लोग बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन मेरा कहना ये है कि ऐसे समस्याओं को हम सुलझाएंगे. हम हाईकमांड के लोग, मैं हूँ, हमारे राहुल जी हैं, हमारी नेता श्रेष्ठ नेता सोनिया गांधी जी है. हम बैठ के सोच के उसको कुछ किस ढंग से क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसा चल.
Now, let's take you through a shocking food fraud racket in Karnataka. Fake Nandini Ghee that was supplied across Karnataka. The kingpins have been exposed. Karnataka's most trusted brand, Nandini, had counterfeit industry running, a parallel industry that had fake Nandini being supplied through the same channels as real Nandini. And these are the two people who are behind it. The Central Crime Branch has arrested a couple, Shivkumar and Ramya, accused of running this full-scale illegal factory producing fake Nandini Ghee. This wasn't a petty imitation here. The police say that they had full industrial level machinery, massive production capacity and a strong distribution network. The alarm was first raised by the KMF Vigilance Wing after noticing suspicious supply patterns, a covert operation that led Karnataka police to crack down on them. In fact, this operation, what happened was basically some of the KMF officials noticed a suspicious network of supply, which is when they alerted the police. And after noticing the suspicious supply patterns, this operation was cracked down upon. In fact, the police led this investigation to Krishna Enterprises in Chamarajpet, where the alleged headquarters of this racket was located. 4 others were arrested, including KMF distributor Mahendra, his son Deepak and 2 associates, Muniraju and Abhyarasu. Police have filed a case under Special Investigation Division and have now sent the samples of the fake ghee to FSL to confirm the extent of adulteration. Remember, they found 8,136 litres of fake ghee, high-tech manufacturing and packaging machinery, coconut and palm oil that was used to make the fake ghee, very little amount of real ghee mixed with large amounts of palm oil and a little coconut oil. Cash, phones and 4 Bolero vehicles has been seized. Investigators are now probing if animal fat was also used, because this could really raise a lot of questions and issues on religious concerns that also could crop up now. The police are now mapping how far this fake ghee travelled and whether more stores and distributors were involved. All right, a quick look at India's most talked about influencer found himself at the center of a very different kind of spotlight today. Orhan, popularly known as Ori, appeared before the Mumbai police today, the anti-narcotics cell, for questioning in a massive 252 crore drugs case. This comes a day after actor Shraddha Kapoor's brother Siddharth Kapoor also appeared before investigators in the same case. Ori was summoned after alleged trafficker Mohammed Salim Suhail Sheikh, deported from Dubai and linked to the Dawood Ibrahim gang, claimed that he hosted lavish parties that was attended by several celebrities like Nora Fatehi, Shraddha Kapoor, filmmaker duo Abbas Mastan, politician Zishan Siddiqui, rapper Loka, including Ori. This comes alongside the probe into Maharashtra's massive March 2024 drug bust, where 126 kgs of mephedrone was seized from Sangli factory. Well, police say that the unit was part of a larger network, moving drugs in luxury cars and routing profits abroad through Hawala channels. Earlier, Ori sought more time to appear, telling investigators that he was out of the city and could join the probe later. Today was his first appearance. He has not made any public comment so far about it. But this is a high-profile case. It's not just Ori. There were many other several celebrities who attended those parties. Now, are all of them going to be questioned? We've got to wait and watch. All right. In a landmark moment for Indian sport, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah today honoured the country's first ever Blind Women's T20 World Cup. The Blind Women's T20 World Cup was honoured by the Karnataka government today. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah himself honouring them. This victory was really special. They etched their name in India's cricketing history. Indian team beat Nepal in the finals. This is a blind Indian women's cricket team, and they really brought us so much pride. At a grand ceremony at Siddaramaiah's official residence, Kaveri, Siddaramaiah congratulated the players and praised an extraordinary journey. He's announced 10 lakh prize for them, and government jobs as well for the Karnataka players, and 2 lakhs each for the 13 team members from other states. A gesture that recognizes their effort and their spirit, because this win is bigger than just sport, right? Many of these athletes come from rural homes, farming families and modest backgrounds. They grew up with limited resources but unlimited determination. Supported by the Cricket Association for the Blind in India, they fought odds that most can't even imagine. At the center of this historic feat is Karnataka's own Deepika Tisi, a girl who lost partial vision as a baby, worked in the fields to support her family and rose to become India's first blind women's T20 World Cup winning captain. Well, this is really their story of strength and grit, and they brought the World Cup home, a new era for Indian women's cricket, blind cricket, to achieving this success. Kudos to them. Thanks very much. Have a great night.
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है।
आप टेंशन मत लीजिए, IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए।
आपके जैसे सुपर हीरोज ऐसी छोटी मोटी प्रॉब्लम से थोड़ी ना रुकते हैं, इसीलिए लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे तो अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात। ही इज ब्रिलियंट, लेकिन अक्सर बहुत टायर्ड हो जाता है। मैं क्या करूं?
2 स्पून काफी है ये प्रॉब्लम दूर करने के लिए। लायन डेट सिरप, इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन और किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं।
लायन डेट सिरप,
रोजाना 2 स्पून।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Google Meet faces major disruption in India, leaving thousands of users unable to join or host video calls, forcing many to cancel work meetings, online classes and interviews. At least 14 dead after massive fire engulfed multiple high-rise residential blocks in Hong Kong. Dozens of fire trucks deployed. Russia slams leak of call between Trump envoy Steve Witkoff and Putin aide Yuri Ushakov. Calls it hybrid warfare aims at undermining Ukraine peace talks. Moscow denies leak from participants and accuses Western media of fueling controversy. Commission for Air Quality Management revokes Stage 3 GRAP restrictions in Delhi NCR after air quality improves. Stage 1 and Stage 2 curbs to remain in place. India firmly rejects China's claims over Arunachal Pradesh, calls it an integral and inalienable part of India. MEA calls detention of Arunachal Buman at Shanghai airport arbitrary. Ahmedabad gets hosting rights for 2030 Commonwealth Games, paving way for the event's return to India after 2 decades and boosting India's push to host the 2036 Olympics. Hello and thank you for tuning into News 9. I'm Deepak Suresh Kumar. First up, speculation is mounting in Pakistan over the whereabouts of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. This comes after his 3 sisters were allegedly manhandled by police while attempting to meet him at the Aidala jail. And the incident has coincided with unverified social media claims originating from Pakistan and also Afghanistan, suggesting that Imran Khan has been mysteriously killed inside the prison. And according to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran's sisters Noreen Niazi, Alima Khan and Dr. Uzma Khan were staging a peaceful protest outside the Adiala jail, demanding access to their brother, when police personnel allegedly launched a sudden assault. All of this happened while they were staging a peaceful protest, and Imran's sister Noreen Niazi claimed the police turned off street lights before attacking them in the dark. Thousands of PTI supporters also gathered outside Rawalpindi prison, shouting slogans against Imran Khan's continued detention. Noreen further accused the police of slapping and dragging several women present at the site, calling the crackdown part of a wider pattern of excessive state force against peaceful protesters over the past 3 years. Her statement described the police's actions as criminal, illegal and morally reprehensible, arguing that they violated the basic principles expected of law enforcement in a democratic setup. The confrontation comes amid a month-long ban on family and legal meetings with the former Prime Minister, who has been incarcerated since August 2023 in multiple cases. And this was the commotion that was witnessed outside the Rawalpindi prison, where Imran Khan's family members claim that they were assaulted in the dark. Shifting our focus, a major tragedy has struck in northern Hong Kong, where a massive fire tore through a residential housing complex, claiming the lives of at least 14 people. The fire started at the Wang Fuk Court estate and very quickly turned into one of the most severe emergencies the city has seen in recent years. Flames are believed to have spread rapidly because of bamboo scaffolding and construction netting that covered the exterior of several high-rise buildings. Eyewitnesses have described the fire racing up the bamboo structure with tall plumes of black smoke and burning debris falling from multiple buildings. People living nearby spoke of loud cracking noises and a terrifying wall of flames lighting up the skyline. Many even fear that residents may still be trapped inside the worst affected apartments. Emergency services have faced extremely dangerous conditions, and firefighters say that the temperatures inside the buildings are so intense and high that entering the upper floors has almost become an impossible task. Scaffolding and debris continue to collapse, making rescue efforts even more difficult. Hundreds of firefighters, police personnel and paramedics are on the scene using giant ladder platforms to battle the blazes from outside. Dozens of fire trucks and ambulances have been deployed. But it's the high temperature and also the undying fire that has hindered the rescue and relief operations at the site. Viewers, Russia has sharply reacted to the leak of a confidential call between Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy, and Putin's foreign policy advisor. Russia has called it a deliberate act of hybrid warfare aimed at sabotaging the ongoing Ukraine peace negotiations. And the leaked transcript published by Bloomberg News reportedly reveals an October 14 conversation in which Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff advised Putin's top foreign policy aide Yuri Ushakov on how to present a Ukraine peace proposal to Donald Trump. Russia condemned the leak as unacceptable and insisted that these discussions were never meant for public disclosure. He said the leak was clearly intended to hinder diplomatic engagement between Moscow and Washington. Putin's advisor Ushakov also suggested that while most of his talks take place via encrypted government channels, some exchanges through applications like WhatsApp may be very vulnerable unless, he hinted, someone deliberately leaked them. Meanwhile, Russian officials have also dismissed a separate report about an October 29 call involving Putin's investment envoy Kirill Dmitriev, calling Bloomberg's claims as fake. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov accused Western media of being used as tools in an ongoing information warfare campaign against Russia. In fact, Bloomberg, on the other hand, has not commented on how it obtained the sensitive recordings, but it's out there. And in the US, President Donald Trump has defended his special envoy Steve Witkoff, saying that he was simply doing what a deal maker does, that is, trying to sell the peace plan to both sides. Trump said he hasn't heard the leaked audio but maintained Witkoff's actions were standard. Thereby, Donald Trump, they're defending Steve Witkoff's actions as calling them standard and that they were not leaked deliberately to sabotage the ongoing talks. Well, this is the latest flashpoint in the Russia-Ukraine war. The flashpoint seems to be a call recording that has allegedly been leaked. With that, viewers, we'll slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more updates on the other side. Do stay tuned.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
ये बेस्ट है सर, हमेशा वाला क्यों नहीं? मिश्रा जी, आपके लिए फूलों की बरसात, बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस देने के लिए। मतलब प्रोडक्ट वारंटी, ये एक्स्ट्रा है। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। वापस करके देंगे? वो भी फ्री। पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on 20th and 21st December at Taj Tal Kutir, Kolkata. EIILM Kolkata presents a Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025. Curation and ideation partner Story Nest.
Irregular periods and unbearable pain. उसके लिए क्या करूं?
2 स्पून काफी है। ये प्रॉब्लम दूर करने के लिए लायन डेट सिरप। इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स, किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Welcome back, viewers. India has issued a sharp and an unequivocal response to China after an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh was detained arbitrarily at the Shanghai airport while transiting to Japan. And at the weekly briefing, MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal said the woman was travelling on a valid Indian passport and China has not still explained why she was stopped and detained. India has lodged a strong protest, a démarche with Chinese authorities in both Beijing and also New Delhi. Jaiswal reiterated India's long-standing position in clear terms, and I quote, Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and an inalienable part of India. No amount of denial by the Chinese side is going to change this indisputable reality. He added that China's actions violated established norms for international transit passengers and went against the efforts both the countries have been making to stabilize the relations. Calling the detention most unhelpful, the MEA said such incidents undermine attempts to build trust and move towards normalization of ties between the two nations.
Regarding the arbitrary detention of an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh, who was holding a valid passport and was transiting through Shanghai International Airport on an onward travel to Japan. We want to say that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India, and this is a fact which is self-evident. No amount of denial by the Chinese side is going to change this indisputable reality. At the same time, I said that we did take up this matter. We did do a strong démarche with the Chinese side, both in Beijing and in Delhi, when the incident took place. Arbitrary actions by China, as the one that we referred to, that I referred to, involving an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh, are most unhelpful towards efforts being made by both sides to build mutual trust and understanding and gradually move towards normalization of bilateral relations.
Well, it wasn't just China, viewers. India has hit back strongly at Pakistan too after Islamabad criticized PM Modi's flag hoisting ceremony at the newly built Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Pakistan had expressed what it called deep concern, alleging rising intolerance and marginalization of Muslims in India. The Ministry of External Affairs dismissed those remarks outrightly. MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal once again said, and I quote, India rejects the comments with contempt they deserve, adding that Pakistan, with its own deeply strained record of bigotry, repression and systemic mistreatment of minorities, has no moral standing to lecture anybody. Jaiswal said Pakistan should turn its gaze inwards and focus on its abysmal human rights record instead of issuing what he called hypocritical statements.
We have seen the reported remarks and reject them with the contempt they deserve. As a country with a deeply stained record of bigotry, repression, and systemic mistreatment of its minorities, Pakistan has no moral standing to lecture others. Rather than delivering hypocritical homilies, Pakistan would do better to turn its gaze inwards and focus on its own abysmal human rights record.
In fact, the United States is also stepping up pressure on Pakistan over deepening concerns about human rights and the treatment of religious minorities. In a strongly worded statement, the chairman of the US Senate Foreign Relations Committee has accused Pakistani government of actively suppressing religious freedom through the use of blasphemy laws and other discriminatory policies. He says these laws are being weaponized against minority communities and warns that an atmosphere of intolerance continues to go unchecked across the country, and this includes mob violence, hate speech, arbitrary arrests and reports of forced religious conversions, all of which have drawn repeated criticism from global rights organizations. A report by the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan released in August titled Streets of Fear, Freedom of Religion or Belief in 2024 and 25 also highlighted such cases of suppression against minority groups, especially the Ahmadis, Hindus and also Christians in the country. Advocates say the lack of accountability encourages vigilante attacks, while victims including Christians, Hindus, Ahmadis and Shia Muslims are left with little or no legal protection whatsoever. The comments align with growing international concern, including sharp criticism from India, which used the 60th UN Human Rights Council session to accuse Pakistan of hypocrisy and systematic persecution of minorities. Listen in to Mohammad Hussain.
Mr. Vice President, India is steadfastly making efforts to ensure that fullest enjoyment of human rights by our people and to realize sustainable development. We must collectively reaffirm our commitment to the ideals of the VDPA. Mr. Vice President, we find it deeply ironic that a country with one of the world's worst human rights records seeks to lecture others. Their attempt to misuse this forum with fabricated allegations against India only expose their hypocrisy. Instead of making baseless propaganda, they should confront the rampant state-sponsored persecution and systematic discrimination against their own religious and ethnic minorities that plague their own society.
Viewers, it's time for us to put our focus on the most important problem in the national capital. That is, breathing has become a very, very costly affair. But there is some relief for residents of the national capital, as the Commission for Air Quality Management has revoked Stage 3 restrictions under the Graded Response Action Plan, citing a steady improvement in air quality over the past 3 days. However, the panel has stressed that Stage 1 and Stage 2 measures will continue and be intensified until further notice. The AQI in Delhi currently hovers around 327 and forecasts indicate air quality is likely to remain in the very poor category in the coming days. Authorities say they will keep a close watch on the situation and issue further directives if required. While Stage 3 actions are lifted, Delhiites are advised to continue taking precautions as pollution levels remain high across the national capital. At key locations, AQI levels this morning ranged from 348 at AIIMS, 358 at India Gate, 363 in Ghazipur,